Attack on Your Mind, Part 3. The calls are coming from inside the church. Megachurches and God as a service. Well, a megachurch finally did it. I have no idea if it's the first time. Probably not. But it's the first time I've seen it, with my own eyes, so nakedly. The largest, to my knowledge, megachurch in Minnesota has loudly proclaimed that its parishioners will not be burdened with the guilt of choosing mostly meaningless consumerism over Jesus Christ. The church will do so for them. I mildly attacked this church previously, and the caveat still stands. This entity has brought enormously more souls to Christianity than myself. I'd like them to keep doing that, and I think some jeering from the backwater of the internet might help. At the worst, it will make me feel better. Brook Church has decided that the birth of Jesus Christ is too inconvenient for their flock. So they simply canceled service on Christmas Sunday, as this inconveniently fell during the real, most important part of Christmas, which is opening boxes that contain plastic items made in China. I assume the irony of the only Sunday of the year in which church is canceled is the one celebrating the birth of its living God is not the way in which the church's senior management, pastoral leadership, see it. Likely, they figured that adding services to Thursday is making up for it. I'm sure there are flowery words about how December 25th is a made-up date anyhow, and that we can offer the best of both worlds by offering more services than normal that celebrate Christmas and still offer families that Christmas morning magic. I'm sure this very sensible take makes total sense to leaders of Brook. It's all very sensible, you see, when the entire point of church is to be entertained and feel good. Brook is offering just that. Keep your Christmas morning plans and come witness a highly stylish Vegas show with a vaguely Christian theme. The music will be inspiring, and the sermon will be perfect. You will leave feeling light, happy, and ready to watch the fleeting joy as your children rip open 45 presents that you'll be dropping at Goodwill inside 24 months. You'll excuse your way into leaving Aunt Margaret's early to insult your extended family behind their backs on the ride home. You will all watch It's a Wonderful Life while scrolling Instagram. Just like first-century Christianity, right? I believe the implication is obvious. Leading evangelical Christianity is centered on man, not God. Cut out all the worldly, fake empathetic garbage, and this is the only real conclusion. That being said, I'm led once again to an argument I have with myself. A victor has yet to be crowned in this internal debate. Suppose megachurches such as this are guilty of my accusation. Suppose that they are focused solely on butts in seats and nothing else. Is it a bad thing overall? Is it better to net as many Christians as possible, by any means necessary, than to do it right? It's not lost on me that my conception of doing it right is probably classified as obscene blasphemy by some other Christians. I currently lean towards its badness. The reason being that I believe we've reached the line that even the most fevered reformers of even the last century would never have dreamed crossing. There is a difference between the attitude that God doesn't care how we worship, so long as we do it together, following the Bible, and purposely packaging God to occupy a small, entertaining spot in our worldly lives. Churches like Brook have crossed the Rubicon. The die is cast. God is not enough, and the old ways don't work. The idea now is to fully implement the tools of this world, fully deploy the learnings and advances of our new scientific religion, and amplify them toward the goal of maximizing customers. Believers. Turning churches into modern corporations is, to me, one of the greatest heresies in Christian history. Ironic that a strain of worship born of opposition to the Catholic Church is striving to become the 21st century equivalent to it. Oh, I'm sure they'd defend this accusation with empty retorts about serving Christ. If I were miraculously able to get past that, I'm sure they'd try to assuage my concerns about how there would never be a pope-like figure. Thinking that organizing themselves under the same structures that dominate corporate governance is somehow better. It took me way too many words to get to how this fits with my theme about our minds being attacked. I assure you, we're there now. I regret to inform you that the most insidious and dangerous calls are coming from inside the house. The mind-capturing apparatus, which I will henceforth call MCA, has already infiltrated our ranks, installed its agents, and is making great progress toward its ends. My greatest fear in this regard is simple: that one day I'll read a headline from a true MCA stalwart propaganda arm like CNN, and it will read something like this: New poll finds Christianity on a comeback. More people are going back to church, and here's why. You can be assured truly dark times are ahead when this happens. This will be the declaration that the MCA feels it has sufficiently diluted Christianity as to no longer be threatened by it, but rather the opposite. If our religion is no longer a bulwark against worldly secularism, but rather a conduit, we are truly in dark times. I love writing diagnosis, and sometimes skimp on prescription. But I believe there is one here. It is to staunchly demand that your church does not begin the slide. The slippery slope is all too real, despite what the attempted social programming of the last 40 years has to say about it. It doesn't even really matter what it is. Do not be seduced. If your church has a tradition of no females in leadership, keep the tradition. If your church has a tradition of no guitars in worship service, keep it. It may seem small and meaningless, and maybe it is, but the attack is already on. Cracks turn into fissures. Don't think for a second that the person who comes to your church and starts making suggestions that seem reasonable but contradict decades of tradition isn't up to something. Maybe they mean well, maybe they don't, but you gain nothing by caving. The best and most effective thing you can do is simply to say no. These insidious practices and their practitioners don't like fights. They like easy wins, and they have plenty of targets. Even mild resistance will make them move on. Hopefully, eventually, they run out of opportunities to corrupt our beautiful religion. The megachurches that already exist will either make it or they won't. They won't survive if people stop going to them. They're modeled after corporations. Like corporations, they need to grow to survive. Those big new buildings and high-end production equipment aren't cheap, and neither is your salvation.